Good evening, everyone. Now I will explain you about my profile page. I use here doc type, and it is not shown here, but I use there. And now I will explain you about these tags, how I made this page. Then I use here Header. Header is basically used for to giving a heading our tags or heading or subheading, and then I use a main. It contain her main things here. Then I give a section and that it's showing our paragraph or heading in a proper manner, and then I use a subheading h2 which is less than h1. Then I use h2 for to giving heading like my personal information. Then I use a image tag to upload my image. Then I use alt is basically used for when our image is not uploaded, that we have to use alt. And I give a width to my image. And then I use a li is basically used for list. And I use strong and basically useful to giving text in a bold. And then I use here, okay, a table border we have to giving border to our table, like we give here one is a 1 pixel border. And cell padding means we giving that how much space between our cell, like our row and table. Then I use a tr as a table row we made a here table row. And feeding th as a table heading we fill the in a table row table heading like our year, our course, institute, etc. Then I use a td is a table data we have to feed here, like our year, our course, and where is our institute, etc. Good evening, everyone. Now I will tell you about my grades. First, I use here doc type that declare the document type and version of HTML. And HTML, the root element that wraps all the content on the page. Then I use here head contains metadata like the page title, link, etc. Then I use here title. We have to set the title of the web page show in the browser or tab. Then I use here body hold the all visible content of the web page. And then I use here heading h2, it is a subheading. And second level of heading after than h1. And then I use here table. You can see here table create a table to organize data in a rows and column. Then I use a border is equal to, in double quotes I use a one is a 1 pixel. And border tag we use for an attribute added to table to make border visible. Then I use here tr. TR is a table row. Each row of the table is wrapped in a table row and tag. Then I use here th. Th is a table header cell used for column title like name, subject, and etc. And then I use here td. This is a table data cell. Table data cell used for actual data like our name, etc. What we want to giving here. Good evening, everyone. Now I will explain you my contact.html, how I made this. I use already doc type here, and we first what we want to make, we have to first use doc type. And then I will explain you another text, like I use a head, it contain information. And then I use here uh, h1 contain our heading, like what I give heading contact me and what you want to write here. And I use a nav is a navigation is basically used for we have to connect link with each other. I use here a href, it is a link. Basically a tag use for to link. And URL or link URL, etc. And I use here main is it is contain our main things what we want to exactly here. And we use here another things like uh, H2. It is a subheading for to uh, giving our contact information. Then I use here UL. It is using for to when we showing our profile in dot type. I use here li is basically used for list, and I use here strong for to we have to showing our text in a bold. That's why we use here bold. And footer is showing who is designed this website, and it is coming in under the web page. Good evening, everyone. Now I will explain you my course.html how I made. First, we already know that we have to use doc type and language and head or body. Then I give a heading to here my course, and I use here a href for link, and then I use a navigation to how to connect these all HTML web page with each other. And I give you here a main. It contain a things here what we want to write, and then I use here a table. Table is basically used for we made a table here. And another things like we want to feed here things like our enrollment codes and what we want to, and we can give here in heading. Then we can see a table border. We have to made a table here and giving a border attribute, because we want if we want to border, we have to give border attribute to it, and 1 pixel is its border. And cell padding here it how the space in a row or call in a table. Then we are TRT, the table row we feed a th a table heading we feed here so many things like course, institute, etc. Then we TDT, it is a table data we feel here. Table data is our HTML and CSS basics. Mem is our instructor, and 2 weeks are our durations, etc. What we want to feed here, and we can feed here so many things, but I just feed basic things here using some basic HTML tags. Good evening, everyone. Now I will explain you about how I made my feedback.html. I use here some basic tags like I've used doc type, which contain and declare the doc type, version, HTML, etc. And headings contain metadata like page, title, link, etc. And then I use here title, giving title to my web page, and here use body, hold the visible content of the web page. And then I use here headings for my content, and by P for paragraph, and B is a line break used to start a line or break here. And then you can see I use here uh, form action. Form action is to create a form for a user input. We can fetch data from a user. Then you can see I use a label. Label is basically describe an input field, and you can see I use here input. Input is create input field like text, email, and password what we want to create here. Then you can see I use here text area and id. And text area basically allowed multiple line text input. And then I use here but here submit buttons basically add a clickable button to submit the form. And I use here uh, I use here footer for to giving who designed this website. Thank you. Good evening everyone. Now I will explain you how I made my recipe in HTML web page. I use doc type and all things here. Then I will explain that if you want to giving a heading, we have used to H1 tag. I give a heading paneer butter masala. Then I want to show my image, so I use image tag imjsrc. If maybe our image isn't not uploaded, so we can use alt and giving name, and it will be automatically come here. And then I use here p tag. P tag is a paragraph, using for paragraph. And strong it giving a bold to our text. And then I giving a h2 is a subheading. I feed here ingredients and ul, and which is a underscore. And I giving a list like how what things we have to add at there, paneer, tomato, onion, etc. Then I use here OL. OL is a step by step list of our instructions, what we have to do in our recipe when we are made this, and it will be complete our recipe web page. Good evening, everyone. Now I will explain you how I made my event web page. First, you can see we have to take doc HTML type, and we have to fit these things like our title, like Tech Spark 2025 Student Innovation. What you want to give a title, you can write here. Then I give a heading here, Student Innovation Test, and giving a para. Join us for and strong is using for. We have to show this like Tech Spark 2025 in a bold size, that we have to use here strong. And we and this we have used here like paragraph tag and heading tag list like 9 a.m, 10, and so many things we contain in a list. And this html page is simple event announcement for TechSpark 2025 Student Innovation Fest. It include details like student, event details, title, date, time, and location, along with a clear schedule of activities, heading, paragraph, and list. This page also highlights important information such as free entry and link of direction. Elements like strong are used to emphasize like key points, and HR line helps separate section for better readability. Overall, the page provides a clean and organized layout to information student about the upcoming innovation event. Thank you.